What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Blackluster Invoked deck profile for Link Evolution, previously featured on Mega Gaming's channel in one of our recent matches. I'm actually behind with this video, so apologies for that, but let's get into the deck right away. With the discovery of the Zaborg tech in my Cyber Angel video, I almost decided to utilize the same mechanic in this deck, but to make things interesting though, I decided to showcase an engine that synergizes pretty well with BLS, and that is the popular Invoked engine. I normally try to stay away from Invoke variants since there are so many decks in the game that use them, but BLS in particular was pretty fun for me straight from the first duel on, so I decided to say screw it. It also helps to provide a different experience from my old BLS video before the update that was more pure and just used the incantation cards. While the Invoke fusion monsters can work well with the decks depending on the attributes that they use, BLS also benefits from getting the Chibi Knights banished by Invocation, triggering their effects to search your ritual pieces. Aleister, also being a dark monster, can help provide a material for Super Soldier synthesis, putting him in the grave for a potential Invocation follow-up. There's some good synergy with the cards, getting you some nice boards with Macabre, a BLS ritual, and other potential options depending on what you have, so I definitely wanted to show this off. Sadly, the update did limit the black and white dragon engine, but it did free up Macabre for this deck, as only having one would have made this deck difficult. The field spells are probably two of the most important searches in the deck, which is why set rotation felt necessary here. I also did consider Super Soldier Ritual at one copy in the deck, but it didn't feel necessary as Synthesis has the amazing effect of using the deck as well as summoning a BLS from the grave. The extra deck lineup is pretty strict, although the Link monsters can be personal preference since it's not something you should go into too much. The Exceed monsters also aren't mandatory and could maybe be replaced with something else if you want. This deck isn't too bad going first with Macabre, but it really pops off going second, especially if you can land some of the combos I mentioned earlier. The Blackluster Super Soldier Ritual monster can be quite an insane boss monster, especially backed up with the Chibi Knights effects if they are used as materials, since he has the potential to attack twice, deal effect damage equal to destroy monster's attack, and he can banish cards from the field or hand without drawback. Setting up for this is the goal, especially since he can often end duels by himself sometimes. Getting into the replay, I realized I don't have a lot of duels that I commentate going second, so this works out pretty well as we get to face the rare but powerful Salaman Greats. Despite how good they are, I almost never see them on rank, so it was a pretty nice surprise. Since I wasn't sure if it was really Salaman Greats at first, I do end up shotgunning the Ash Blossom onto Lady Debug yet again, but our opponent is still going to get his combos popping off as expected. This was my first time ever getting into this matchup, but I did think about how useful Purgatrio and Super Soldier would be here with their multiple attacks, and Super Soldier being able to banish monsters, completely nullifying the Bale Link's protection effect. As our opponent ends his pretty good turn, he does manage to set up for his counter trap Roar, which can set us back a bit. Luckily, we do end up top decking into the synthesis material we need, but unfortunately it is Aleister, meaning we have to make a tough decision here thanks to the counter trap. I initially tried to bait it with Call by the Grave, but that was a poor choice as I should have known my opponent wouldn't fall for that. Thanks to us having two ritual spells though, we can sacrifice one and still make use of the other, so it was a pretty lucky hand there for us to have. With Roar gone, we can use the Aleister finally to search Invocation and pop off here. We could have saved the Call by the Grave for a better target and fused with the Bale Links instead, but we still have an Ash Blossom we used earlier as a material for Purgatrio anyway. With Invocation being able to add Aleister back into the hand, we can now use him as a ritual material, and you can see some of that synergy I spoke about earlier when we were covering the deck list. Since Aleister is a dark monster, we can send Beginning Knight to the grave as the other ritual tribute, and his material effect enables Super Soldier to attack twice, further making his effect damage more brutal. We really didn't need to go Purgatrio here since attacking with BLS gets us more damage, but getting any invoked monster here was essential for lethal as you'll see soon enough. That's it for the replay though. I hope you guys enjoyed that demonstration, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the replays. Make sure to check out the duel with this deck on Mega Gaming's channel, and like, subscribe, and comment what you want to see next.